Hey there, Billy Joel fans, Piano Man Steve here, and welcome to the tutorial for Lullabye, Goodnight My Angel, his heavenly ode to his beautiful daughter Alexa Ray. I got to meet Alexa. She was doing a tour of Hard Rock cafes back in about 2006. And I live about 4 hours from Salt Lake City, so I drove up to see a friend of mine that lives up in that neighborhood and went to one of her shows, and even have a picture with her somewhere floating around. I didn't have a digital camera yet, if you can believe that. Had to do it with one of those disposable things. So anyway, enough of that reminiscing, but beautiful song from the River of Dreams album. We're in the key of G. And we're just going to take this section by section like we always do. The first thing that we're going to be looking at is just the intro. So the first section is going to be the introduction of the song, which is highly related to other parts of the song, but we'll like I said, we'll stab away at it one section at a time. So let me just play through the part that we're going to learn here first, and then we'll go through and chunk it down, and then I'll stop the camera and restart it, and that'll be the beginning of a new chapter, and we'll look at some other stuff. So here we go. We're going to learn this far first. Okay? So that's all the farther we're going to go. What are we doing? Well, here's middle C. You're going to want to find that. Your left hand is going to be on octave G's, not 1 G below it, but 2 G's below it, clear down here. Okay? Now, let's just take a look at the left hand by itself, and I'm also going to be giving you some tips on the pedal for this song, because this is a very echoey, reverberating song. Use a lot of sustain pedal on this. So you're going to want to hold your sustain pedal down, and you're just going to hit these notes and let them ring, okay? Bum. Okay, now if your tempo is dun do 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 1 2 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and okay, see how we are there? So you're actually going to be playing on eighth notes. So you're going to be here 1, and then you come up to this G, which is right below middle C, and it is, excuse me, okay? So octave G's, then this high G, then E flat, as you can see, D, C, and then down to this C. So G, 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 E flat, D, D, C. In real time, it's like this. I did not let up on the sustain pedal until I got to when I hit this low C. So I let it ring all the way through. Okay, so I push down the sustain pedal and I hold it all the way through here. Now I let it up and back down when I hit there. Okay? In fact, let me see if I can move it into the screen, maybe over here on your right a little, or I think that'd be your right. It's my right as I'm looking at it. See it down here? Okay. So what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna try and demonstrate what I'm doing if I can get my knee out of the way. So we're down, up, down, and I will say down and up and down so you can get a feel for it. So we're down and I go bum, 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 bum. That was a little dramatic, but I just wanted you to be able to see what I was up to. So it's very important, because if you mess with it in between, then you kind of lose your root note. Okay, if you go, in some ways it's cleaner, but the truth is you want that reverberating double G down here. If you don't hold it down, then you get this effect here. And without that ringing, it just doesn't sound right. So that's why I'm instructing the pedal that way. Okay, so you've learned this far. That is the key. That is the fingering I would use. Octaves with your pinky and thumb, and then thumb, thumb, index, index, third, third, and then like a thumb or a 2 is fine. Either one, thumb or index is fine. And then pinky down to this C. So it really doesn't matter. You can pick a fingering that works, and I don't play it the same way every time or the same fingering, but it's just these notes. That's probably the way I do it the most naturally, is to come up here with my thumb, 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 middle, middle, thumb underneath, index, and then pinky. The last part of this little movement with your left hand when you've hit this C is to go. So you've hit the C and it's G, C, D, E. Index, thumb, index, thumb. And it's eighth note, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay? So I'm gonna slow the tempo down and I'm gonna play the whole line in the left hand all the way. So okay, now again, just a little bit slower. Okay? So one time at the real tempo and it's like this. Okay? So what's the right hand doing while we do this? Well, the right hand is on a G chord in this inversion with D on the bottom, D, G, and B. So it's there twice. And then it goes to what's called a C minor 6, which is C, E flat, and A. You could have a G in there if you wanted to play a fuller chord, but I think it muddies it, but you could go. But I think it's better to just, okay, so it's here, here, then back to here, okay? And then you play a C major chord with an added ninth, which if you bought my ballad pack, we talked all about that, which is C, D, E, and G. Right there. So watch that again. I'm going to play it really slow. Okay? Now if you want to add a little bit of character to it, this is, you play just like you did here. But instead of playing the full C added ninth chord first, just the first, on the first part of that, you just play C, D, and G. And then on the second, come through with the E. See what I mean? Because you're playing each of these chords twice. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So 1, 2. See? If that makes sense. Okay, so let's take a look at these two hands together, and I'll play through everything really slow, and here's what it looks like. Let me just run through that a couple more times in slow motion, and then we'll move on to a new section. Remember, your sustain pedal is down. Now you lift it up and push it down again. Okay. Again. A little bit faster. Again. And full speed. More time at full speed. Excuse me. Okay. So that's your basic blueprint. That's pretty, it's to my ear as close as I can get to what he's actually doing. But I think any offshoots that you want to do with that, anything you want to do with this added 9 chord, if you just want to do a hold it and let it ring and not do the little, that's fine. If you want to something like that, anything you want to do, you can play around with it within the chords that are there. It's an interpretive art, so feel free to put your own spin on it if you like. But what I've shown you is what I believe is actually being played. And I can't guarantee it because I haven't had a chance to sit down with Billy Joel and talk with him about it and ask him specifically, you know, but that's kind of where my ear is telling me. So I'll see you in the next section. We're going to learn the verses. Okay, well here we are. It's time to learn the verses. So let me just run through the section that we'll be working with here. I might break this into 2 chapters because it's maybe a little bit involved. This is one of those songs that sounds a little simpler than it is to play. I don't want to freak you out. I'm just letting you know that it can get your goat a little bit. It's more difficult than it sounds. So what we're going to be learning for the verses is in its entirety this. And then it repeats. So I will probably break this in half and make it into 2 chapters that are a little bit easier to swallow. But we'll get started here. I think what we're going to try and do is we're going to try to get this far. We're going to try and go. Okay, and then we'll take the other half in the next section. So we're in G. Luckily this has some similarities to the intro. Now rather than being clear down here, okay, I'm just going to have you here. Okay, now let's look at the left hand. You come down with your pinky on G and watch what I'm doing. So you see how I held the G down with my pinky the whole way? The only time I lifted it was when I came down on this final D. Okay? So you sustain that. You never let your pinky up. So what are we looking at? G, and then it's G, G, E flat, D, D, E flat, D, G. Okay? And it's that last D when you lift your pinky up and then come back down on that G. So let me play that slowly. Again. And as far as your pedal is concerned, one of the reasons I'm having you hold that G down like this each time you play a new note with this part of your hand other than your pinky, like when you go down to the E flat, I let up and push back down on the pedal, then do it again here on D, and again on E flat, and then here. And that's one of the reasons why I'm having you hold this down, because it gives you a sustained sound. It keeps that G bass, but it doesn't get quite as muddy. See, and here's the difference. Here's just pressing the pedal and just holding it all the way through. Now here is quickly letting up and pushing back down each time I hit a new note up here. See, it's not quite so muddy, but we didn't lose that foundation. So that's what you're going to be doing with your right hand in this first section. Or excuse me, your left hand. Okay, now let's look at the right hand part that goes with it. You're here on this chord like we were before. So very much like the intro, it's just this G chord, D, G, and B. C minor 6, which is C, E flat, and A. Back to this G chord. And then a C minor chord, which is E flat, G, and C. And then back to your G chord. And it's 2 strikes on each. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. It's not the count, it's just the number of times you're playing each chord, if you see. So looking at that with the left hand, and you have this. Excuse me, I already screwed up in the left hand for you there. You got to hold this down. Here we go. Again, watch that. And again, I'll try to play it even slower. One more time, this time at real speed. Okay, next section. Your left hand goes G, D. Excuse me. So you were here, then you go to octave Ds. Now watch this pattern. Okay, so listen to that rhythm. Da 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 da, ba bum, ba bum, ba bum, ba bum. Okay, so again. The notes, of course, are G, D, E flat, E, D, C, C, C. Okay, one more time for good measure, then I'll show you the right hand. Okay, the right hand is right here. It comes down on, technically what it is a D suspended 7th chord, but what you're playing here is a C, a G, and an A. So all the way through. Then you come to an E minor chord, which is B, E, and G. So and then it's a D chord, which is A, D, and F sharp. Then down to a C chord, G, C, and E. So watch that. We're on this D suspended 7th thing. E minor, D, C. So the D suspended 7th. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 times. 1, 2. So it's 4 times here. 2 times here. 2 times here. 2 times here. Okay, so it's 4 on this, and then 2 apiece here, here, and here. But watch the, now let me just do the pattern without talking in there, and you can just kind of see how it plays out. One da 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 da. Okay? With the left hand, okay, again. Okay, again. Ba-dum, bum, bum, bum. Okay, and again. And again. So again, in the left hand we're going da-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, bum, and here we're going bum, 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 more time really slow, and then one time at real speed, and then I'll move on to the next section. And even slower, and I'll try not to hit any wrong notes this time. full speed and without manipulating my fingers the way I do to try and keep them out of the way, it looks like this. Okay? Then basically we're going to do something very similar. The next section, we already learned how to do this. Okay, so you just repeat that. Now this is very, very similar to what we did, but this time we're going. So let's break down what that is. We do our D or G, D, E flat, E, D, and instead of going to a C, we go to an A. A. So it's just like what we did before, except now instead of going, we go. Okay, so let's look at that. Again. Excuse me there. Forgot to look at the piano one more time. Okay, so what's happening up here? Very similar thing again. We're on this little D suspended 7 chord. E minor, D, D. Now instead of going to the C chord, we go to an A major chord, which is A, C sharp, and E. Again. And here we go. Together. Excuse me. Sorry, see, I goof up too, don't worry. Scratch that. And again. Slow. And at full speed without doing a gymnastics routine with my fingers there. So let's look at the entire piece up to that point, okay? Or not the entire piece, but the entire verse up to that point. Let me slow that down a little bit and get my fingers out of the way and just run through the whole piece, both hands, in kind of slow motion, that whole part of the verse that we've learned so far for you, okay? Okay? Again, here we go. Okay, so at full speed without my fingers being all goofy, it looks like so. So I will break here so that you have that to work on. That's easy to find. It'll be in your chapter list. And in the next section, we're going to move on to the rest of the verse. So I will see you there. Okay, so let's pick up where we left off. Excuse me there. Where we were is, no, the first thing you're going to do is there's a little pickup. Let me show you what happens. There's a little pickup in the right hand that goes, excuse me. So let's take a look at the left hand, okay? We've just gone the left hand, we're on A's, octave A's here, and it goes. So A, B, B, C, C, D, D, C, C. Kind of a little run up. Okay. Feel like that guidance counselor on South Park. Okay. If you haven't seen South Park, I apologize for the inside joke. I just keep saying okay. So, sorry about that. Here we go again. Okay, there I was again. And what's happening with the right hand is you, just before you come into there, you go A, B, C. Up and play an A minor chord very quickly here. E, A, and C. Okay, so it's an A minor chord, then a G chord, D, G, and B, then another A minor chord. This inversion is C, E, and A. And then it's simply your G chord, you just play it again. And then a D chord. D, F sharp, and A. So look at that. Okay, so with the two hands together, one more time. And one more time for good measure. Okay, so that's that part. Now, from here, the next section goes. So that's how far we're gonna go. We're gonna go. Okay. What is the left hand doing? Well, it comes down on a G, and what it does is rather than play octaves, you go with your pinky on this G, and then you're going to play some eighth notes here with your thumb on this G while you hold this one down. Excuse me. So 1 and 2, and then it's octave Fs. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. See, and then down to E. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay, so we're working our way from G down to F, down to E, down to D. So watch that pattern. I won't talk, just think about it at this tempo. Even a little slower. Okay, now the right hand is going here. It is on this G chord. 1. So we start out on just a plain G chord, 1, 1, da, da. Then we substitute the G for an F. So we effectively take this G chord, turn it into a G7 chord. And then we play F, B, and D up here. And come down to C, D, and G. So, okay. Again. Okay, now what is happening there when you put the left hand with it is okay. Now notice when I come down on this kind of C chord here, it comes down and then the left hand comes down. They don't come down at the same time. So then, from there, we've already gone, and then it just goes, these two notes, you leave your pinky in place, and it's C and D. Bum, 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 bum. So C and D, then B and D. So with the left hand, it looks like so. See that? Okay. Now the next section has us coming up and playing this G7 chord again. And it looks like this. So let's look at the left hand. We've just gone. Bum, 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 bum. Okay? So again, we were just going bum, 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 C, C, B, A, D, D, D. So again. Let it in. I'm going to slow it down even a little bit. Bum, 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 bum. That's the tempo. So see if you can catch the rhythmic pattern. Aside from the notes altogether, think about this. It went bum, 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 bum. So bum, 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 oh, excuse me, bum, 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 bum. See how it's going bum, 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 bum. That's kind of important. That's the pace that you're looking for. So again, watch this section. Try and play it with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, what was happening up here, we already learned a little bit of it. So we come back up to this G7 chord, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and jump up to this G7 chord. So we're on D, F, and B, and then F, B, and D. Then we come down to our C, D, and G. That's C added 9. See how that plays out? To a G chord, which is B, D, and G. So here was our G7. Okay, one more time on that. Okay, now from here, you play D and B together. Just one time. So bum, 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 and then you move to an A suspended 7, which is G, D, and E. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's get that far again. So again, here we go. Okay, now it goes to here, which is C sharp and G, which is essentially playing an A7 chord. You play that note once, and then it goes to a C chord, G, C, and E. And then down to a D chord. F sharp, A, and D. So watch this line, and I'm going to play it really slow. Come back up and play this C chord like that. So watch this with the right or with the left hand together. Let me see here. We've gotten to this point. We've gone. Here we go. Slow that down a little bit. Excuse me for that. Forgot to drink my V8, folks. Sorry about this. From there again. again. Time for good measure. Okay. Then you simply repeat that entire verse from beginning, the section we learned in the last chapter and what you've learned in this chapter, and when you put it all together, it looks like this. Excuse me. There we go. Okay. Now, aside from the couple minor mistakes I made, which I'm not going to edit out because you know what? The piano isn't about perfection. I doubt Billy Joel's ever played this to perfection the exact same way, 2 times in a row, and neither have I, and neither probably will you, and that's okay. It's going to vary just slightly, but this is a really good blueprint for you. But that's what we've learned so far. So you've learned the intro, and then you've learned the verse. The next section will be that thing. So I will see you in the next chapter, and we'll look that over, and then we'll learn how to end the song. So hope you're having fun, and I'll see you in the next chapter. Okay, now this section, we're going to break there's a little instrumental interlude that we're going to break into 2 halves. Okay, and the whole thing looks like this. Okay, so what we're going to do is this chapter, we're going to look at this section that just goes. Okay, and then we will, in this next chapter, look at so let's start what you're going to do is you're going to find your G's. Here's middle C. You're on octave G's, and we're going to be in the left hand going like this. G, G, F, F, B flat, C, C, D, D, E flat, D, D. Again, a little slower. G, G, F, F, B flat, C, C, D, D, E flat, D, D. Okay? And you simply repeat that. It's an absolute repeat. The right hand, we're on a G minor chord with a B flat in the bottom, D in the middle, G on top. And then it's an F chord, which is C, F, and A. Then a B flat chord, which is D, F, and B flat. Then we go to a C minor 6, which is C, E flat, and A. Then we go to a G minor, which is B flat, D, and G. So far we've gone. And we go to a C minor and then a D chord. I'm just going to check myself. Correct. Okay, so we have gone G minor, F, B flat, C minor 6 here, G minor. Now we play another C minor 6, only this time we play, it's a thicker chord, A, C, E flat, and G. And then we play a D7 chord, which is A, C, D, and F sharp. So watch that really slow without me talking. I'll just let your eyeballs do the work here. Botched one there for you. One more time through. Even a little slower. So with the left hand, it is Now this is very like kind of classical sounding, like romantic period, late Beethoven, and then you get into like Mendelssohn and Brahms and Schubert and that kind of stuff. It's very and the most important part of it, if you hear it, is this bass line. You could play these chords. If I just played these chords over their typical root note, this is what it would sound like. See, it'd just be. But the way that they've got it framed, where you have some odd bass notes that are part of the chord but they're not the typical root, man, there's something really haunting about it. I love that. I just think it's a beautiful part. So let me play it really slow for you one more time for you to watch. Without the acrobatics on my fingers, it's okay. I'll see you in the next chapter and we'll learn the rest of that line. Okay. Now this section, the bass line's fairly simple. You just come down first. Well, this is what it looks like. Okay? So your bass line's actually pretty simple. You're just on your really low G's like this. Let it ring. Then C, then A, then D. So we're letting a G ring. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So think about the counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. G, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, C, 4, A, 2, 3, 4, D, 2, 3, 4. Okay? That's all there is to the left hand. So what is the right hand doing? You have to find what is called, well, it's part of a G7 chord, but it looks also like a B diminished chord. It's B, D, and F. Okay, now I tend to play it with these 3 fingers because of what's coming next. The next thing that you play, so you go 1, 2, and then on 3, you're gonna play B, E flat, and G, which is kind of like a B augmented chord. And then from here, you have B, F, and A flat. Then back down to this. And and there, and then a C minor, which is G, C, and E flat. And then you play B flat and D really quick. So watch that. Okay. With a G bass under it, so you watch how this plays out. A little slower. Now we go down to an A bass here, and you come up to C sharp, E, and G. Essentially, you're doing the same thing you were doing here, only you're doing it in C sharp. It's a diminished chord. So C sharp, E, and G. There you go. Okay. So we're here. And then it goes to the C sharp augmented, which is C sharp, F, and A. And then it goes to C sharp with G and B flat there. Then back down to the F and the A. And then it goes to a C triad, C, E, and G over the D bass. And then D chord, A, D, and F sharp. And then down to C. So it looks like this. Okay, one more time. Excuse me. And again. This is the fingering I would use probably. Is I would start out here, thumb, index, and third. And then I'd probably move my index finger over to the F and my fourth finger on A. And then play the G and the B flat with my middle finger and my pinky. Okay, so let's look at the whole line. I'll play it kind of slowly with both hands. At least that part of it from here. This part, okay? even slower. Excuse me. Let me try and keep my fingers out of the way for you a little better. Ah, my bad, see? A little closer to tempo. Of course, that's where he goes. Okay, so let me just play through it one more time for you, and then you'll have that section down. You might not have it down, but at least you've got all the tools you need to get it down. So I'll see you in the next section. We're going to look at the change in the last two verses, and then we're going to look at the outro, how to get out of this thing. So I'll see you there. Okie dokie. Well, there's not very much left in this song to learn. Mostly what we're going to do in this section is I'm going to show you the way that the third and the last verse is kind of changed from the first two verses. There's just one section that's a little different. I'm going to show you that. And then we're going to do the outro, and I will also just kind of show you kind of how it all pieces together. So when you come out of then you're right back to something that we learned already, or at least that's on the video earlier, which is but then from here, where it goes is it goes. That should be familiar because that's the intro. Okay, and then it just does that little change up again. And then you're ready for the outro. So let's look at what happens when it goes. Okay, so what's going on there is, we know this part, except from here what happens is we jump up and we have an F bass. So let's look at this line from the left hand. Okay, so it went, we're familiar with this, G, F, F, E, E, D, D, C sharp, C sharp, C, 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 B, A, B, A, D. Okay, so again, F, F, E, E, D, D, C sharp, C sharp, C, C, B, A, B, A, D, G. Okay. And up here in the right hand, you go. And this is where it changes. We go to a G, kind of a G7th here. It's just F, G, and D. Down to a C chord, which is E, G, and C. Down to a G chord, which is here, D, G, and B. A chord, C sharp, E, and A. So again. With the left hand. Again, even slower. Okay, and then we already showed you C, B, A, B, A, D. So where are we at with the right hand? Well, here's our C minor 6, C, E flat, and A. So it's here up to a G chord, which is D, G, and B. And then it's C minor again, E flat, G, and C. Oh, excuse me, we don't want to play that G7. We're here, we're good. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to play a D chord, or excuse me, a G chord with 2 Ds and a G in the middle. Okay, and with the left hand going C, B, A, B. That's where we're going. And then your right hand goes to a G chord here. D, G, and B. Bum, bum. And then you just come down on G by itself. So take a look at where we're at. take another look at that whole line. Okay, now where it goes is here, an A7 chord, which is just G up on your pinky, E in the middle, C sharp on the bottom. And I play it here with thumb, index, and middle finger. And then it's A, B, A. So we were here. And then you come down on a D chord, D in the bass, and it's C, E, and A here. So watch how that plays out real quick. One more time. And again for good measure. Come down on G, and then here's the introduction. Which you can go back to the beginning of the film to learn. I'm not going to reteach that now. And then we simply do our excuse me. Does that look familiar? So basically what I'm going to do is several times at a kind of a slow pace, I'm just going to play the line that goes going to play that several times slowly so that you can see it, because that's the only difference. And then I'll teach you the outro, and then I'll kind of run through it and show you how the song pieces together. Okay? So here we go. going to keep playing it slow, but I'm going to use actual fingering. Hopefully you see the notes that I'm playing well enough now. You've seen them enough times that now I want you to see how it actually plays. Okay, and at full speed. Okay, now the next section we're going to show you the outro, and then the last section I'll do a little wrap up, show you how the song pieces together. So I'll see you there. Okay, the outro to this song goes like this. Again. Okay, so let's look at what we're doing. Pretty much just holding a G pedal, which is you're holding the G chord, or just octave Gs. And then you play them again on that final strum, so it's not too hard. The left hand just is boom. But you got to hold it there. She'll probably be lifting up and down on your pedal a few times, and you want to keep that note sustaining. The real movement is in the right hand. You come clear down here. This is middle C. So you're going to form a G chord on this D, this G, and this B, and it looks like this. So you're familiar with this. We're just an octave lower. G chord, C minor 6. And then we do this little guy where it's F, G, and D. See there? Then do a C minor chord, E flat, G, and C. Then an F minor chord, which is A flat, C, and F. And then an A diminished chord, which is A, C, and E. And then A, C, and D. And then a G major chord with an added ninth, which is G, A, B, and D. So again, that's so important, I'm actually going to zoom in just a little bit so you can really see it good. Here we go. Sorry about that, guys. Now I'm just going to play that G, that octave G's down there so you can at least hear what it sounds like, but I'm going to keep it zoomed in on the right hand, because that's where the story really is. And again. I am letting up on the pedal every time there's a new chord. Not every time I hit a note, but every time the chord changes. So up, let up on the pedal and back down. Let up and back down. Let up and back down. Let up and back down. Let up, back down. Let up, back down. Okay, so I'm up and down on the pedal a lot because I don't want this to get too muddy, but that's why you have to hold, those G's, because you're going to be letting up and down on the pedal a lot and you want them to still reverberate through. That is the bass note. One last time. Now if you want to, you can, I'm going to back up here just, you can roll into it, you can kind of arpeggiate that if you'd like. You can G, D, G, and then just kind of I tend to do that. That's completely up to you. But that is the outro. Now you have the material to learn every section of this song. In the next section, in the final section, just going to do a little wrap up and show you how the song pieces together, and then we're out of here. So I'll see you there. Okay. Now I can't sing this thing all the way through. That's a violation of copyright, at least on this video, but I can at least show you how I'm going to kind of play this song from beginning to end and kind of show you how the things piece together. So you learn your intro, which goes like this. And then you're into the verse, which is... verse. Sorry. Then we do the little instrumental interlude. Then we're into the third verse. Then we do our little change up. Excuse me. And then you're into the intro again. Now we're just into that little change we made to the verse again, because it's kind of a little, almost like an ending tag. Outro. And if you want to, you can go all the way up the piano and just keep doing little arpeggios on G added ninths, which is any combination of G, A, B, and D that you can think of. If you don't know how to do that stuff, buy my ballad pack and you'll learn all about it. It's nice ways to just kind of end songs. Anyway, but there you go. That is Lullabye, Goodnight, My Angel. That is the whole kit and caboodle, and I've enjoyed teaching it. I hope that you have enjoyed learning from it. Like I said, it sounds simpler than it is. This is actually kind of a tricky little song, but beautiful when played well. And I know you can do it, so don't take that as me saying that I think it's too hard for you. I just want you to not be discouraged if you have some difficulty in the early going, because I'm telling you, this song really is trickier than it sounds like. So remember that if you're not having fun when you're making music, you're doing it wrong, as I always say. I'll see you in the next tutorial and on YouTube and in my blog, and I just want to tell you again how much I appreciate you making the commitment in yourself to learn something that will, one, better yourself, and two, bring you joy. I wish everyone in the world had the courage to do what you're doing, whether it's music or something else in their life that they'd like to do that they just aren't even making an effort to try. I really appreciate that very much. And I can't tell you enough times how much I appreciate you making it possible for me to do this and to make my living by it. This is the coolest job in the world. I can't think of anything I'd rather be doing. So anyway, I'll catch you on the next one, guys. But thank you from the bottom of my heart I so enjoy doing this, and we're going to have some fun together with some new videos here soon. So take her easy. I'm Piano Man Steve, and I'm signing out.